What I just showed you was what the mimic jump scares looked a while ago. What's up guys, I'm Boxel. In this video I will go over every monster in the game, their jump scare evolution, and the way they have been revamped. If you enjoyed this video, a like and a sub would be greatly appreciated. Without further ado, let's get right to it. First up we have Yachi. According to McDitch, this was her very first design, with a pale body with a dress covering it, thick blocky hands and legs, a pale face with a demonic smile with two white eyeballs and a pink hat on top of her head. Now, for her alpha stage, Yachi is an 8-foot-tall monster who was cursed by Kintaro, who many people know as Sama. Yachi appears to have a pale body with a dress covering her lower part of her body. She has long black hair, dark black hair, a creepy wide smile exposing her teeth, and a large pink head with a ribbon wrapped around it. And, this is her jump scare. Remember, this is when McDitch was still a solo developer, as we can see. The jump scare consisted of a pink hat on top of its head, red glowing pupils, black blood coming from her eyes, and her pale white left hand on the screen with a jump scare box behind it. Next up we have her beta stage. There was not much difference compared to the alpha stage other than Yachi's noticeable long hair and black veins on her arms and leg. And this is her slightly changed jump scare. The second jump scare we have for Yachi was almost completely the same as the first one, but the only difference we got was that Yachi had black eyes now and she has a proper jump scare animation. Next we have her third jump scare. The third jump scare was also really similar to the first and second, but I'm pretty sure this was the time Yachi got revamped, since McDitch hired new developers for his game. Anyways, the only difference was that she now had both of her hands out now, she has black veins and is moving in a more professional jump scare-ish manner. Next we have the Halloween Yachi. From the image we can clearly see that her elbows are flared to the side more compared to the other Yachis. She also has arms that look more like the marble texture, her dress is more wider, and finally her face, it looks more human/demon-like combined from the looks to me. Also her hat is more wider, and now I'll present you the jump scare. The fourth jump scare was exactly the same as the previous jump scare. The only thing different was that Yachi had an eyeball now on the right side of her face. Now finally we have the current Yachi model. This was a big change compared to the other Yachi models, since now she has a thinner dress, longer claw-like demonic hands. One of the features of her which made Yachi more terrifying than her old versions is her face. Her smile is more wider, exposing her set of teeth like the Batman who laughs. Her eyeballs are more exposed and there appears to be black tears coming from her eyes. And now, I'll show you 3 of her jump scares. Now the 5th jump scare. The 5th jump scare was the proper revamp. Yachi now had more of a demonic smile on her face, revealing her bare teeth and gums. She has a small nose, and judging from the size it looks very small, like a child's nose. Her face is more sharper on her lower part of her face. She has 2 eyeballs, and finally her pink hat is less visible. Everything was exactly the same. The only difference was that the red light from the jump scare was removed. For the game's current Yachi jump scare, this is the 7th one. The only difference compared to the previous 2 was that she had no more box jump scares now, meaning there was no black background at the back. For the next monster we have a monster not really popular in the mimic community, Shizu. She can be seen standing in the cavern near Arai village. She is a tall stone structure that holds a similar appearance to Yachi, having a long dress, a small picnic hat and empty eye sockets. This is what her first jump scare looked like. Yeah, it's a black screen with Kuriko's jumpscare sound. I recorded this when the new Revamp jumpscares came out, so it might be buggy. Anyways, this is her official jumpscare. As you can see, as soon as I died, she violently shakes me. Moving on to the next monster followed after Shizu, which is Biwaki. On the early days of the mimic, she used to look like this. She is the size of a small child with a pale white dress, with black tears or blood coming from her dark empty eye sockets and mouth. She has long black hair, with a rose crown on top of her head, and is holding a biwa with her right hand. But she did not get her own jump scare like a year later, when other monsters like Shizu, non-armored kusonoki, etc. got their own jump scares. But this is her first jump scare. Yeah, I know, it's just Kuriko. I'm guessing Mook only did this since he didn't know how to separate Biwaki's jump scare and Kuriko's jump scare in the early days. Anyways, here is her old jump scare. We can see that Kuriko's right arm was reaching out to us, and in the middle it looked as if Mookditch used photo booth to sink in the neck. But during her revamp we got this, she looked way more older than she looks. The main difference between the revamp and the previous design is her face. Her mouth was completely exposed, her eye sockets were completely sunken in with white pupils, and she had black blood coming from her eyes and mouth. Now for her jump scare. We can see that she T-poses to assert dominance on Yasu, then processes to hit him with a biwa. Moving on to the next monster, which is the main monster of the hotel, Kuriko. In the early days of Chapter 1 she can be seen crawling around wearing a white mask with a large smile exposing her teeth and black tears or blood rushing down her eyes. She also appears to have long medium-length black hair, veiny arms and legs with a white dress in the middle. Anyways, here is her jump scare. There's nothing special about this jump scare since I already showed you it. But here is the second jump scare. Since Kuriko just got a new jump scare animation consisting of her moving her head back and forth, this gives a bit of a fright. Next we have her third jump scare. The models look the same compared to the previous two, the only difference is that she has two very small black pupils and her animation flickers. For her fourth jump scare, this is what it looks like. Her head appears to have a seizure, she now has black tears or blood coming from her eyes, and she also got no pupils. I'm guessing she has black eye veins. Next up we have the Halloween Kuriko. There isn't much of a difference from the previous model. The main thing you would probably notice is the mask. It's more realistic since the nose is sticking out more and the eye sockets are more sunken in. Anyways, I will show you the jump scare for this creature. Now, for her final and current model, after the proper revamp update, this is the Kuriko we know now, with flexible pale arms with claws of a demon you would see in the movies. Her hair was way more straighter, and lastly her face. It reminds me of Jeff the Killer's face, with a large smile exposing her teeth and gums, her black eye sockets / white eyes, and lastly her dress. It looks like it was made of thin fabric. If you want her jump scare, here it is. As you can see, she also T-poses on my dead body. Her right arm was in front of the camera, her left arm was flared out to the side, and she was smiling towards me, proud of her killing. That's all I have for today. Thanks for watching.